Hi, everybody. Welcome to the season two of SalesIntel podcast series, Pipeline Pioneer, where our objective is to learn from the experts and the practitioners as to how to build the best pipeline. As we know, pipeline is the heart and blood of any organization, and it takes a village to build the pipeline, right? You can't just outsource it to a BDR or AE organization or marketing. It takes truly a village to come together and build a pipeline. Today, I'm excited to have Jonathan from the Audience Plus new acquisition. Jonathan, we are excited to have you back here on season two. Why don't you tell the audience about you, your business, your recent acquisition, and how do you get involved in generating the pipeline?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me back. In season one, I was co-founder and CEO of The Juice, a B2B content platform that helped marketers distribute and convert on the content they were creating. Here in season two, I'm co-founder and CEO of Audience Plus, where we help marketers publish, distribute, and convert on their content. So we had a product partnership that evolved into a acquisition opportunity, and we're really excited about that opportunity. So now at Audience Plus, I'm certainly taking on some of the founder-led marketing activities. I'm a marketer by trade, so I take on some content production to drive pipeline, a lot of content collaboration. And then, my other side hustle right now is being an SDR, BDR, AE, SolCon, solutions engineer, a little bit of everything, working with our sales leader because we sell to marketers. So, I can empathize with the pains that they're seeing and the pressures that they're feeling, and trying to make the most of that opportunity.
That's great, man. That's awesome. So, Jonathan, congratulations on this acquisition merger of all the two companies. Um, how do you get involved in pipeline generation? I know every early stage founder is a BDR, every is a marketing leader, but how do you get involved in bringing the right pipeline for your business?
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit in season one, but for our business, we're startup stage, seed stage, venture-backed business. We're scrappy. We have felt the SaaS winter that everybody else has felt, especially in MarTech, sales tech, go-to-market tech. It's been challenging. For us, what has been working is getting out in market. And for our team, I'm kind of the one that's flexible or maybe crazy enough to jump on a plane tomorrow if needed, right? Or go to the West Coast at the start of the week and the East Coast at the end of the week. And that's been working for us. It's a blessing and a curse, right? We started it by going to meet customers. We want to go meet our customers in person. Again, I'm a marketer by trade. And so I said, oh, well, let's run a field marketing event while we're there. I just couldn't help myself. And that led to pipeline and that led to customers. And we're like, oh, that worked. We should do it again. And it just kind of keeps working. We haven't really seen that law of diminishing returns yet. In fact, if anything, it's actually building momentum because you start to see people, two or three times over in market. So I know you and I have crossed paths at several events. And yeah, that's something that we're continuing to pour into this fiscal year.
That's awesome. Awesome. So let's talk about ICP. In last season, we focused on channels of marketing, and I kept hearing from the marketers, from the GTM leaders as to, hey, you know what? Lots of GTM leaders miss their numbers because they are just not disciplined about their ICP. So this season, I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask every go-to-market leaders as to who's their ICP and what process did they take to define or refine their ideal customer profile.
Yeah, we so I'll maybe share two stories and I'll start with where we're at right now. So right now our profile is a demand gen marketer. That's not where we started. We started kind of brand and content marketing, and that's kind of the challenge with selling into marketing is that sometimes brand and content are viewed as demand, sometimes they're viewed completely separately, separate teams or same teams. So there's always a little bit of discovery there. But we started on brand and content. But then we realized in renewal cycles, we were being judged by demand gen metrics, regardless of who the owner was. So we said, instead of trying to navigate that or trying to help the brand or content marketer understand the demand gen metrics, let's just start selling directly to demand gen. And I think the macro environment certainly led that as well. And so we really pivoted hard around that, but that wasn't just an exercise in who we are targeting for pipeline. That meant we had to make updates to product, updates to who we integrate with and how we integrate. And it was really a broader project than just a marketing project. I think the other thing there that's interesting is that we were able to look in the rear view mirror as we're doing this and see what type of business is the right fit for us. So we really found this like, early stage, I always tell people we had everything from solopreneur to publicly traded software company as a customer, and they were both happy, which is like a good thing. But also, it's a bit distracting for the team to know where to focus. And we found our happiest customers were really in that like 20 million to 50 million, 100 million in revenue, that kind of mid emerging market. We felt like we were really providing value to that. So we kind of were able to look in the rear view mirror at what had been successful through a renewal cycle or two, and then in the forward through the windshield, if you will, at who we wanted to target based on where we were taking our product.
Oh, that's great. So you're now focused on 20 million and above, and that was mostly learning from your past successes
And failures.
and
Yes,
failure,
learning
of
from
course.
our successes and failures for sure.
That's great. That's great. There's a lot of data-driven approaches that are available once you get the scale and see what your data is telling you about your ICP. Have you tried that?
A little bit. It's more of looking at our own data. I think we are in a bit interesting. We have our platform provides us a lot of data. So we've got 100,000 users using our platform to consume content. A lot of those are marketers and sales professionals. So there are some signals within our product that we feed into a few different systems that we have, as well as we use that for some outbound efforts as well. We also know what's trending because, right, we've got a million pieces of content on our platform. And so we can see what demand gen users are searching for, what they're engaging with, what's top of mind. And that can inform some of our messaging and some of our actual campaign efforts as well.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, now that you have your ICP defined, I'm sure you're trying to use all the channels available to build the pipeline. So let's just switch the gears, and I am going to share my screen and give you the same 100 pennies that I gave you last time. Let me know.
I don't get more pennies as a repeat customer. I feel like I
You
should get at
know,
least like 10% more pennies here.
you get more experience to now spend those 100 pennies. So we changed the channels a little bit based on the feedback
Yeah.
from the community, but you have, the classic channels here and your 100 pennies. Your goal is to build the most optimal pipeline. How would you build the pipeline? How would you make this investment? Where would you optimize these investments?
Man. Okay, so based on what I just said, I'm going to go 30 pennies into event-led growth.
Okay, so we are going to put, let's see, 30 on the events. All right.
I feel steep, but that's what the data is telling us to do.
Yeah.
Um, let's go 20 into let's go 20 into sales-led growth.
Okay.
But this is a combination of there's probably, some overlap for a team of our size between sales-led growth and founder-led growth. So let's do 10 in founder-led growth.
And Holland. Yeah.
Um, 20 in community-led growth.
Go. There we go.
Uh, 10 in product.
10 in product.
10 in customer.
10 in customer. Perfect. Perfect. So, you have a well diversified portfolio here for pipeline generation. Let's dive deeper into events. Why 30? What kind of events are you doing? And what's the outcome that you're looking for?
Yeah, a bit ironically, after putting 30 pennies in event-led growth, I'm going to tell you we don't sponsor events. I think last year we went to 12 or 13 events and we only sponsored two of them. And they were like kind of like sidecar activations. They weren't the traditional booth, exhibitor hall speaker type of sponsorship. What we have found works really well for us is going to an event, being present at the event, supporting our customers and what they're doing at an event, and then hosting a dinner, hosting an activity around the event. So again, just kind of scrappy and a little bit more true to who we are as a brand and who we are as a team. That is what we're doing at events. Just this year, we have started doing kind of standalone dinners. So we're partnering with a few brands on standalone dinners in market. I just got back from one in San Francisco last week. I believe we might even be collaborating on one coming up.
Okay.
So that's been really fun for us. And the punchline I always give, and I think I gave this on season one as well, is that I think breaking bread is the best marketing strategy.
I love it. Breaking bread as a pipeline generation method. That's awesome. Well, let's take a look at this. So you can see my screen. This is how community members averages worked out, and then we're gonna update and overlay your data in here. Clearly you're over-indexed on events, but when you look at this chart, anything that jumps out and surprises you?
Hmm. I think sales led. I think it's interesting that I feel like it's become very trendy to say like outbound SDR, BDRs like don't work anymore. And I think in reality, like it's easier said than done. A lot of people are still believing in it, or maybe it doesn't look like it exactly like it used to. Maybe it's not just having an SDR measured on activity, but that sales led motion, people still are investing in. And I think creativity will win there. It just might look different than it has in the past.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, AI is everywhere. Any podcast that you jump onto, any discussions that you have with GTM, AI is top of mind. What are you doing in AI?
A little bit of everything. We're obviously infusing it into our product in several different ways. One for our users to use. We're using it a lot in our QA process and some of our like COGS just of the business in a way that have reduced costs fairly significantly for us, which has been exciting. From a go-to-market perspective, it's been kind of an exercise in restraint, I would say. We tried some of the AI outbound tools, just felt like it wasn't working the way we felt like we could if we just put in the effort to do more one-to-one, more human outbound. What it's helped us to do on the go-to-market side is prioritize who we should be reaching out to. So this has become maybe a little cliche, but it is what we're doing. We're saying, hey, AI, why don't you go prioritize our lead list? Kind of we're doing a form of lead scoring with a bunch of different intent sources. And we're letting AI sift through all of that for us and then pass us the prioritized list of who we as humans should one-to-one be reaching out to. And that's been really effective for us. So we're going to continue to lean into that effort.
Well, that's great, man. Awesome. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights and playing this 100 penny games with us. We really appreciate it. And I'm sure our audience is going to get benefit from this.
Thanks for having me.
Great. Awesome.